Indulge and Beyond, your most favorite channel with travel vlogs. In this video, we are going to take you to a journey to one of the most fascinating and mysterious places on earth, the lost city of the Incas, Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu nested high in the Andes mountain of Peru, one of the new seven wonders of the world. It's believed to have been built around 1450 AD and abandoned a century later, leaving behind a city of stone that has stood the test of time. The journey to Machu Picchu is an adventure in itself, with options ranging from hiking the Inca Trail to taking the train. Please watch our video where we have captured details of Peru Rail and all you need to know. Aguascalientes is the closest town to the famous ruins of Machu Picchu. The town was renamed Machu Picchu Pueblo. From here, you will need to take the bus to reach the ruins. You can purchase the ticket in person here or online. It will allocate you specific time. You stand in the line for your specific time bus arrival.
There is 1 p.m. bus there. So if you are on 1 p.m. bus, you go and stand there. So look for your time. At what time is your bus?
Buses leave every 10 minutes in the direction of Machu Picchu.
So we are on a line at 1 o'clock entry. We have a ticket for Circuit 1 and 2 plus Inca. We'll see, it may take some time to go to Inca Bridge and come down. So we are going to the bus right now. It's 1 o'clock. We have entry. So guys,
the bus trip to Machu Picchu lasts approximately 30 minutes. Outward route is uphill on the slopes of a mountain. At the top is the Inca citadel of Machu Picchu. The return is the same way. The section lasts approximately 25 minutes. The journey is downhill. Some people decide to take the bus and return on foot. Bus travel is not considered dangerous here. Only tourist buses cross the Hiram-Bingham highway that leads to Machu Picchu. At every corner, you will enjoy the breathtaking view of Andes Mountain.
the main entrance of Machu Picchu here is not that big area. So the bus comes, they offload the incoming passengers, and then see there is a long line. So when you come back, you have to take care of it half an hour at least to be in the line to get in the bus, and then it will take another 20 minutes. So take care of, we have to be back here by 4 o'clock. That's the plan. Otherwise, our train is at 5:20. You don't want to miss that.
Tickets for Machu Picchu must be purchased in advance. No tickets are sold at the ruins. Enter, you are required to present your passport along with your ticket, no exceptions. We started our hiking. We were struck by the splendor of the location.
This is the path. This is the entrance for 1 and 2 circuit, plus Inca Bridge.
Nested high in the Andes Mountains, the site is surrounded by lush greenery and stunning views. It's clear why the Incas chose this location for their city, as it is not only visually stunning but also strategically located for defense.
Circuit 2, Circuit 1, plus Inca Bridge.
The guard house is a small building near the entrance that was used to monitor visitors and control access to the city. Machu Picchu is an ancient Incan site built in the 15th century but abandoned a century later during the Spanish conquest. The site was rediscovered in 1911 by Hiram Bingham, an American historian and explorer. Hiram Bingham was searching for the lost city of the Inca. Setting up camp by the river, Bingham and his team were approached by a local Quechua farmer. The team about an old Inca complex up on a ridge near the camp and led the team to the site the following day. Machu Picchu, of course, had never truly been lost. It had only been forgotten. Locals knew of its existence long before Bingham arrived. A little bit about the circuits of Machu Picchu. Circuits and a one-way system were introduced at Machu Picchu during the pandemic. For doing only one-day trip, Circuit 2 is the best to provide you best viewpoints. Circuit 1 and 2 are the only tickets which include the upper part of Machu Picchu. So these are the circuits you must take if you want to see that famous postcard view with the mountain behind the citadel. Don't miss the opportunity to take a picture in a sari.
Shava, oh Shava, Shava, oh Shava.
Wear shoes and clothes appropriately. During daytime, the temperature rises above immediately. During July, the Peruvian winter, be aware the sun is very strong at these high elevations throughout the year, so please plan accordingly. Officially, only 4,000 people are allowed to enter Machu Picchu in a day, with a small portion of tickets allocated to the ticket office in Aguas Calientes for those who didn't pre-book. Machu Picchu is separated into two distinct areas, the agricultural and the urban sections. Ceremonial areas used for religious ceremonies and rituals are scattered throughout the city. The residential sector is located at the highest point of the city and includes buildings that were used for both residential and administrative purpose. We entered this area through Porta Principal, the original entrance gate. This is where we really started to explore the site. Residents closest to the gate on the upper street were likely occupied by important people, such as high-ranking officials, religious leaders, and members of the royalty family. As we are exploring the site, we were awed by the ingenuity of the Inca people. The architecture is truly remarkable, with many of the buildings constructed without the use of mortar. The stones were cut so precisely that they fit together perfectly, creating a tight seal. Stones are laid with a slight inward angle, allowing the structure to remain strong even in face of the frequent earthquakes known to occur in this mountain zone. The royal palace, home of the Inca ruler and his family, would have had unobstructed view across the main plaza and beyond across the valley. The important temples were close with direct streets from the palace, demonstrating how religion and politics were closely connected in the Inca world. If you look closely, you will see a beautiful view of the valley, but also you will see a quarry. Machu Picchu has never been finished, and in this place you can clearly see that. Just why it has been abandoned before it was finished remains unclear. Before the Spanish defeated them, the Inca Empire suffered from a succession war and lost almost 2/3 of its population to a tragic smallpox epidemic. Maintaining Machu Picchu probably had been just too expensive. As you follow the path through the urban sector, you will ultimately come to the main temple of Machu Picchu. This square probably served as a staging area for important rituals and gatherings. It is often called Sacred Plaza. The temple consists of huge walls that have once been perfectly set. You can see plenty of niches on the wall. One sacred objects would have been placed there. Next to the main temple is the Temple of Three Windows. Treading down the path, you cannot fail to notice the flat expanse of picture-perfect lawn. This square was probably used for important rituals. Llamas are a common sight at Machu Picchu, where they roam freely and are considered part of the landscape. The government owns the llamas, which were reintroduced to the site to enhance visitors' experience and recreate the atmosphere of the Inca Empire. The agricultural sector of Machu Picchu is a vast area that was used to produce food for the Incan people who lived in the city. This section of the site on the western side of the city and is divided into several terraces that were used to grow crops such as corn, potato. Crossing the main square, you will soon come towards a little outpost. Two thatched roofs are crowded around a huge slab of natural rock. Insiders call it the Sacred Rock, though whether it really was a ritual site remains unclear. The architecture strongly resembles the one around the Sacred Plaza, meaning two buildings with only three walls facing a central stone. Llamas roam freely and are officially the property of the Peruvian government. They are not confined in any way, but the steep stairs and mountain pathways tend to act as natural fencing. The llamas at Machu Picchu are a popular attraction for visitors. The Inca were masters of water management and created a network of water channels that were used to irrigate the crops and deliver water around the city. Next, you will step into the industrial sector and its many factory houses. For that, again, this is only hypothesis.
Almost done. Now we are taking exit. So this is a road outside the city and it's going out from here. I think we have to walk at least 15-20 minutes to reach the main gate, and that's where the bus came from. We started around 1. It is now 2:30. So at least 2 hours, if you don't do Inca Bridge. If you do Inca Bridge, then it will be like at least another hour more, 3 to 4 hours. Depends how fast you move.
Some archaeologists believe that these mortars were in fact cup holders, or rather jar holders. The ferment maize beer is still popular among the working class and would have been stored in pointed vases. Behind the extensive industrial zone of Machu Picchu, you will find a set of houses crouching over the abyss below. The central piece is a giant rock that looks like bit like a condor. This building almost got the feeling of a labyrinth, which is why they are often referred to as prison.
See what is there, Baba. Come here.
We will exit the city of Machu Picchu through the city wall, entering a sweeping series of terraces. These terraces were built to perfectly drain the heavy rains and keep the crops and soil in place. If you happen to experience Machu Picchu during one of these downpours, you will quickly realize that the ancient system is still working. Neither pathways nor fields are bogged down. It will only take a couple of minutes for them to dry afterward. Quite a marvelous feature. If you were to cut through one of these terraces, you would find many different layers of gravel and soil. God knows how long it took the Inca to figure out this system. At the end of your tour through Machu Picchu, you will see a couple of granaries. Their roofs have been restored to give you a proper impression of how they once must have looked like.
So almost here. This is the exit. We are coming out from the exit. Right, done with the Machu Picchu tour.
Here's the bus line. Okay, all the buses are coming. It doesn't take much long because the buses are keeps coming all continuously. They check your ticket here. It really doesn't take much long. There is bus constantly coming, so you don't have to wait too long for the bus. So when you come out, and there is a bus line, you have to wait on the bus line.
We got the bus going back from Machu Picchu Sanctuary to the city of Machu Picchu. It's 20-25 minutes ride. We have a train at 5:20-ish, so we may have some time, an hour or so, to have some food. Kids are hungry, so we'll do that, and then we'll board the train back to Cusco tonight.
If you plan to trek downhill, the route is 8 kilometers on average. An average tourist can complete the trek in 2 hours, depending on walking pace. Other important information related to Machu Picchu. It is also important to note that the altitude at Machu Picchu can be challenging for some. Site is protected under UNESCO. Toilets and water fountains are not available past the front gate, so if you need to use a toilet, you will not be permitted to return. It's limited to 4 hours only. We are back at Aguas Calientes. Aguas Calientes has a rich history dating back in the Inca Empire, where it was known as Machu Picchu Pueblo. The city offers a unique delicious food varieties.
Okay, good.
For budget-friendly and authentic options, street food is always a choice. You find a variety of grilled meats and the popular dish of grilled koi. We started with some guacamole and chips, followed by the famous ceviche.
So this is trout ceviche, Peruvian style ceviche with trout, fresh trout fish, which you can get in this river, in this hilly area. So this is very good. No fishy smell at all. Very good. The corn is the main staple.
Chicken dish served with fries. Kids enjoyed the spaghetti. Today, the town of Aguas Calientes is a home to diverse population of locals and visitors who come from all over the world. There are plenty of things to see and do, from exploring the local market to taking dip in the nearby hot springs. I felt some of the artifacts here seemed little pricey. If you are staying for a full day, there are many places to visit. I want to hike to Mandor Gardens. This is fairly a large botanical garden with many orchids. You can also visit the Machu Picchu Museum and the Butterfly House. And of course, the hot springs that the town was originally named for. These are mineral baths. It was almost time for our train back to Cusco, so we headed towards the railway station. We were returning back to Cusco through expedition. Our visit to Machu Picchu was for sure unforgettable and a great experience. History and beauty of the site are truly remarkable. We feel so fortunate to have this opportunity to visit. We hope you enjoyed and gained some experience and information you are looking for from this video. We hope to see you again in another exciting travel blog. So please join us and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We look forward to share more outdoor adventures with you. We will see you in our next video. Till then, goodbye.